The commandment that we are given over in Exodus chapter 20 verse 12 directs us to honor our father and our mother. Is this something that we're still required to do now in modern times? In order to figure out the answer to this question, we need to look into some New Testament verses. For example, over in Ephesians chapter 6 verse 1, where it says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right." This verse is very clear, concise, and direct in its instruction for us. It would be hard to misunderstand what it is talking about. Is there anything else we can learn from this verse here? Children are supposed to obey their parents. But what I want to focus on is the next couple of words here. We are supposed to be obeying our parents in the Lord. The reason that this verse specifically tags us on the end of it is to let us know, like with anything in our life, while we rely on our parents a lot, not all parents are good parents and examples. Whether we want to or not, we will become somewhat like our parents, simply because they are a big influence on us as children. So if our parents are a good, strong example and a Christian soldier, then this verse is telling us that we need to obey our parents and to follow after them in their footsteps so that we too will become strong in our Christian walk. Finally, the last couple of words in this verse say, "For this is right." We could say this holds a double meaning. First, it is able to show us that whenever we do follow our parents and in their footsteps, that this is the right and good thing for us to be able to do. However, the second meaning is a direct reference to this original commandment found over in Exodus chapter 20 verse 12. While both of these verses talk about how we should be honoring our parents and listening to them, the New Testament verse that we referred to over in Ephesians chapter 6 verse 1 tags in after this statement. That is done just as a simple way to say that whenever we respect our parents, it is something that we are supposed to be doing that is in accordance with God's Word. Another verse that we want to look at is found over in Matthew chapter 15 verse 4, in which it says, "For God commanded, saying, Honor your father and mother, and he who speaks evil of his father or mother, let him die by death." While both of these verses focus on all the same things that we have talked about in every verse that we have mentioned so far, this verse is different from the others in that when it talks about the punishment that comes to those who don't obey it. From this verse, we get to see a very different aspect of this commandment. We already know that we need to follow it and obey our parents if we want to prosper in life. However, we now also see the other side of this verse by it talking about what happens if we don't obey it. What will happen if instead of obeying our parents, we instead decide to speak evil of them? The way that it is worded shows us the gravity behind this commandment. In a historical context, severe penalties like we see here were carried out. These punishments were intended to deter behavior that would set an example that would encourage compliance and to stop disruptive behavior. Now, while the New Testament doesn't endorse or even suggest death to those who speak evil of their parents, however, the underlying principles behind this law, like respect and value family, remain vital even today. All this was done in order to show the importance of treating all, even our parents, with that proper level of honor and respect. In Luke chapter 18 verse 20 it says, "You know the commandments. Do not commit adultery, do not kill, do not steal, do not bear false witness, honor your father and your mother." Through this verse in Luke, we are able to see that Jesus, listing the commandments to be obeyed, mentioned this commandment to honor your father and your mother.